Yo, yo, yo. Welcome everybody. I'm sure you're here to learn how to play Ryan. I'm here to teach that to you. You know, just some of the basics. I'm not really gonna go into all the nitty-gritty. Not really gonna get in deep with everything. I might though, who knows? I go a little bit off track sometimes. My name is Kifix OT. OT at the end. Don't ask me what it stands for. Don't ask me what it means. I don't know. It's just there because somebody stole my name. Don't know who it is. I'm sure it's happened to the best of us, you know. Get your name stolen on a platform, you know, you just gotta put in some random stuff, whatever. Anyways, getting a little bit off track here. Let's get into the video. But first, to clarify, I'm not the best player in this game. I'm not the best Reinhardt in this game. I'm just giving you the knowledge of my game sense and the hours that I have on Ryan. You know, I think I have the skills to pay the bills, to teach you how to play him a little bit. I'm sure this would be good for like new players or even old players who have played this game for the longest time. Anyways, let's get into the video. I have this little list, keep me on track. As you can tell, it's not working. First thing we got, shield management. We're not gonna go into that yet. You know, heck the list. We're just gonna go off camera roll here for a second. First thing we're gonna go over is Reinhardt's abilities. I think my camera's blocking a little bit of this. Who cares? Rocket hammer. You know what this is. I think every Ryan player knows what this is. It's your hammer. You know, this big old thing. We swing around all crazily. We have Earth Shatter. That's our AoE cone stun. It stuns everybody. You can even one-shot like lobies with it. Then we have our charge ability. I know a lot of you Ryan players love using this ability.
Okay. Hello? I can fly?
Luckily, they added like the cancel charge feature, which is huge. And then we have our fire strike, this big old thing. We'll be throwing these around, you know. Then we have our shield, our barrier field, or shield. This is what I think is one of the most important abilities on Reinhardt. This is what brings him all together, what makes him a good tank, in my opinion. Then we have the passive, the roll tank, reduces knockbacks and critical damage received. Not gonna go into that too much. And then we have the perks. I will get into the perks later in the video, so stick around for that. You know, you want to learn what perks to use. I can give you a little bit of info on that. They're very situational abilities. All right, now let's get to the shield management thing. I'm gonna walk over here to these spots. You know, I don't really have anybody in here to kind of like sit around. You know, no friends, such. Anyways, we're gonna pretend that the standard bots back there are the enemy, and these bots here are my friendlies. These are my team that is currently dying. So what can I do to keep my team alive and be a good Reinhardt player? I can utilize my shield to block projectiles. We have 1500 HP. Think of it as HP. You have 1500 HP to block damage with. You know, one of the most important things on Ryan is his shield, because we can block a lot of damage with it, and it's mobile. We can use it to block flankers, to block snipers, block tanks, to block CC, you know, literally block anything that you think of. Just go through your head in the game of all the stuff that you can block with your shield. There's a lot of it. It's very useful. Now then, since it is one of our most useful abilities, and we should use it a lot, use your shield a lot. You should really use it a lot. What do we do when it's about to die? Well, there's also another shield you can use, and it's called a wall. You know, when you have no shield, you're very vulnerable to dying, and if you die, your whole team is going to most likely get wiped unless they are godly players. So we want to utilize walls, which there's a lot of chokeholds on points where there's a really good wall to use on Ryan. I'm sure a lot of you know about them, or you can learn about them, you know, just by playing the game. So when your shield's getting low, you know, you want to back up to your teammates, because you still want to keep them safe, right? You don't want to back up and then you have a front line right here. You want to make sure they're backing up with you. So you want to back up to maybe like a wall, just any sort of LOS. LOSing is your best friend on Ryan when you have no shield. Just get behind something. Yes, you're a tank. You're supposed to soak damage. But if you're dead, you can't soak any damage, right? You know, so hide behind the cart. Hide behind a wall. Hide behind your Ana. You know, just hide behind something, man. Maybe not your Ana, but you know, just hide behind something. and there's a little bit of tech to this, right? Because you know your shield's low, you want to get behind and walk quickly, right? You want to get behind it quickly because if you don't, you still have the chance of dying. You know, you got 300 HP on your shield. What's a good way to do this? What's a good way to get back quickly? There's a tech that you can do. You know, when you're moving with your shield, your movement speed is a lot slower than without it, right? Now it's not insanely slow, but it is a bit slower. So what's a good way to do this? We can jump, right? I'm sure you guys have seen Reinhardt do this. You should definitely learn it for yourself. It's a good mechanical skill to have. How do we do this? When we jump, we retain Reinhardt's base movement speed, which is faster than the shield movement speed, right? So what we can do is jump, shield, jump, shield, jump, shield, jump, shield. And what is that doing? We're retaining Reinhardt's movement speed while also keeping our shield up and not getting that slow movement speed of the shield. This is very valuable for backing up with your team and getting behind something to shield yourself from damage. That way you're not feeding ults and you're not dying. So definitely just go around, you know, practice this. Practice this. Jump, shield, jump, shield, jump, shield. Or you can do this in any direction. Look at me go. Look at me go. I'm literally hopping everywhere while keeping my shield up and blocking projectiles. Now, of course, some of them are going to go through. So sometimes it's not a good idea to be doing this to back up. As you can see, some of the projectiles are still going through and hitting my teammates. So sometimes it is a good idea to just hold your shield and walk back with it. But that's for you to decide. This comes with game sense by playing the game. That's when you're going to learn when to do that, right? And now, not only can you use this to back up and get to a safe position when your shield is about to break, you can use it to go in. You can use it to literally jump towards the enemy teams and push them back and create space. You don't have to use your charge to go into the team fight, you know, because as soon as you use your charge, you're going to become vulnerable. You won't have your shield out. It's going to make you vulnerable. It's going to make your teammates vulnerable. It's going to make everybody vulnerable. Everybody's possibly going to die. You're probably going to die because you're going into their backline. So instead of charging, let's use our shield to go in. Let's use our shield to push in and push the enemy out. You know, maybe get in here. Look, you can do a little bit of this with it. A little bit of swing action with your shield. You know, you just get comfortable with it, man. Get comfortable. You can push up with your shield to get a little bit of poke on a tank and use it to push back. Get comfortable doing this. This is a great way to build ult charge, throw fire strikes, you know, get comfortable with it. Now, next thing that we're gonna go over is the Reinhardt charge. The video will probably cut to that, so there's that. You don't want to charge. You don't want to charge into the enemy backline. This is the one thing you don't want to do on Reinhardt. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it works out, I know, but that's like 1 in a million. When you charge into their backline, you are leaving your team behind. You're leaving them open to flankers. You're leaving them open to basically their entire team to kill you, to kill them, I mean. And when you're back here, you're by yourself. Nobody on your team is really going to be able to help you, besides maybe a Life Weaver pulling you back, or an Ana throwing a nade at you to keep you up, or nanoing you or something. Those are like the times where maybe this is okay to do. But other than that, most likely you're going to charge into their backline, you're going to die, you're going to feed, and your team is going to lose that fight. So let's not do that. Let's instead, maybe, just maybe, hear me out, use our shield to push in. Okay, use our shield to push in. As we're still healthy, we're still getting damage out, we're creating space and pushing their team away. This is a much better thing to do than just charging in and dying. Although there are times where charging in is good. Again, that comes with game sense, playing the game. I can't really teach you the good times to do that. You have to learn that for yourself. Alright, now on to the next scene. Let's go. Alright, we just went over shield management. I had to cut the video a little bit. We are on Reinhardt's charge. I'm gonna go over Reinhardt's charge. You know, I'm not gonna go too much into it. You know, I'm sure it's a very situational ability. This is something that you kind of have to like learn when to use it just by playing the game. I can't really teach you a whole lot on it. However, I can give you a mechanical skill with it, you know. Sometimes when you die, you need to get back to point. And there's a lot of weird doors in this game on respawn points. And this is also a very good mechanical skill for like surprising enemies, surprising tanks who are coming around corners. There's a lot of choke points on maps where you can hold corners on Ryan and get a lot of value out of your charge. So it's the same thing with the shield tech, how you can like strafe around, jumping, throwing out your shield. You can do the same thing with your charge. I can jump around this wall and charge, right? And surprise an enemy there. I can do this to get back out of like you know, respawn points. You know, I'm just gonna go in here real quick just to show you. Say I'm walking, I'm here on the respawn, you know, I want to go out that door. I respawn here, I can immediately just jump, charge, and I'm out. Look at that. Look at the maneuver that I just did just by jumping. It's very huge for getting back to points quickly, surprising enemies, you know. Again, Reinhardt's charge is very risky. It's a very risky play to use because it leaves you and your teammates open. You cannot shield while you're charging. However, they added the beautiful thing to where you can cancel your charge, which is amazing. Just know there are some tanks where it's bad to use your charge just to cancel it. You know, another Reinhardt, you use your charge, you cancel it, now you don't have your charge and they can charge you and kill you, right? So just be very careful with this ability. Don't go straight into backlines trying to get one pick. You trading your life for one pick in the backline, 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose a fight and not win, because it's not a very valuable play. It really depends on who you're pinning, right? Usually you just want to use your pin to pressure out tanks, right? You can hold corners, a tank comes in, charge them into a wall. You know, you got a Zarya pressing up on you, you're holding this wall here, you can jump around the corner, grab her, then, you know, it's just something that you kind of have to learn on your own. I'm not really going to get into it a whole lot. It's just reading the game, figuring out the time to use it, and getting good with it, right? Just by playing the game, you can learn how to use your charge ability very well. All right. Okay. Done this like 1,000 times by now, trying to record this video. Anyways, we are on Fire Strike now. You know, we just went over Ryan's charge, shield management. I taught you a little bit why diving into the backline with Ryan's charge is bad, because you will die, lose the fight, possibly lose the game. You know, all that. It's just bad to do. You're a tank. You need to stay with your team. And you don't have to use your charge to go in. I'm just giving you a little bit of refreshing. You can use your shield too to initiate fights. But anyways, on to Fire Strikes. I know a lot of us Ryan players are kind of bad at aiming, you know. Me, you, anybody watching this video, we're kind of bad at aiming. So a good way to learn how to do that, you know, the practice range can be useful for that, but this is better. Why is it better? Because throwing Fire Strikes at little robots that don't have the same hitboxes as characters in the game doesn't really help you a whole lot. Now, if you can go into this and actually see the hitboxes of like characters in the game, it helps a lot more than the little robots in the practice range. What is this? It's Vaxta. I know a lot of people have seen this. You've probably seen players using it, you know, streamers using it. It's a very useful custom game. How do we get into it? We go into custom game, create a game, you know, go to your settings, and then we're gonna click on this little import code, and I'm pretty sure it's just Vaxta, VAXTA, and then you boot it up, right? Now we go back, start the match, let's get in here, and then we're going to pick Reinhardt. It's gonna throw us here. Now you want to pick, I usually put it on 20. I guess you put it on whatever. I don't think it really matters. And then start warm up, you know. And there's a few settings in here on the wall that you can change. These up here, the bot movement, 100%. You can tone it down a little bit if you need. But I usually just put it up to the max. You know, you can keep it on normal. I usually put it up to the max to hard. And just come in here and play around. You know, play around with your Fire Strikes. You can use this for like practicing your charge too, or like practicing your shatter. You know, literally anything. You know, you can use this for any hero you want to. It's just better to use the hitboxes of the characters that are actually in the game than, you know, the little practice robots in the practice range. This is way better. You can sit here like all day just practicing these Fire Strikes, learning how to hit these people. You know, at the end of the day, you know, like changing all your settings, changing your sensitivity, just changing all that is not really going to help you. It may a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, the best thing that's going to help you get better with aim of your fire strikes is practicing it, playing the game. So just sit here. Just sit here and just mess around, throwing fire strikes, getting better at hitting these people. And I'm sure if you sit in here for like a good 30 minutes to an hour, however long you want to, you will improve at aiming your fire strikes, aiming your shatters, aiming your charges, you know, literally anything you want to. You can swap characters if you want, practice somebody else, just do whatever. I'm just throwing this out here for anyone who doesn't know about it, right? This is a very useful custom game. All right, we just went over fire strikes. Now we're back in the practice range. I have a few other things I want to show you guys, you know, mainly like Reinhardt's hammer and the perks and stuff that I said I would go over later in the video. You know, I've seen a lot of people like in game like ask like why Reinhardt's are like swinging left and right crazy, just going back and forth, moving their camera everywhere, you know. They're doing like this crazy stuff. They're swinging back and forth. And it's mainly because it gives you a bigger swing or a bigger hitbox on your hammer. So I'm gonna show you it here. You know, I can swing back and forth and hit both these guys. And I mean, they're pretty moderately like close to each other. So I'm gonna boop them away a little bit with my charge. It's the best way to do this. I'm gonna boop them away a little bit. And look, now they're far spread apart. I'm doing that arc swing and I'm hitting both of them. You see, they're a good like 5 meters apart from each other. And I'm still here hitting both of them with one swing. With one swing. It's very useful, very valuable. I know you look a little bit crazy doing it, but you should definitely learn how to do this. It's great. It is a great thing to do, especially when you're sitting here and like you land like a fat like 5-man shatter. I know like a lot of you throw like fire strikes, but like sometimes they're like spread apart and you can't really hit like a chain fire strike on all of them. So the best thing to do when you have them all knocked down is to maybe throw like one fire strike as you're walking up and then it just starts swinging left and right. That way you're cleaving the entire group. You know, you get a fat shatter. You want to kill all of them and do as much damage as possible. Sometimes there's situations where like your team isn't there to like finish off the fat shatter that you got, so you kind of have to like do it yourself, you know.
I'll do it myself.
Let me just get my shatter back real quick. I'll show you. So like, say we land a shatter, we can throw a fire strike and we can get up in here. We can get up in here and start swinging, and usually by that time most people are either going to be 1 HP or dead, you know. Sometimes yeah, you can like get in, shatter, throw a fire strike, get a few strings, and then even charge and grab the tank. Sometimes it would like shatter the tank and they got a lot more HP than everybody else, so you can usually land a charge off there. Now then, let's get into the perks, right? Perks are very situational, you know. You can there's sometimes where one is better over than the other. The barrier recharge, you know, they have a comp where they're just like burning your shield a lot. This would be good to go, you know, because it regens your shield. However, using charge to regen your shield is a little bit obscene, you know. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, so it's a very odd ability. So 9 times out of 10 I go the refunded charge of fire strike when you stun an enemy, overfilling up to 3 Crusader's fire. Now why do I go this? Every time you land a charge you get another fire strike. Every time you shatter, right, let me get rid of a fire strike. Every time you shatter you get another fire strike. You overfill to 3 fire strikes, which is amazing. It is amazing. That's a lot more damage that you can output. So yeah, definitely one of the better perks to go than the other one. Although, like I said, it's very situational. Sometimes having some shield regen is good, you know, because you can sit here, shield, take a little bit of damage. You got a Ryan or like a tank that's walking up. Maybe you can like snatch them up. Your shield's low, snatch them up, get that little bit of regen on your shield there. On the next perk, these are really the important ones, right? I used to go Ignited Fury a lot because, you know, it sounds really good. For each enemy you hit with Fire Strike, gain 2 seconds of 25% increased attack speed, which it is good. it is really good. It increases your damage by quite a bit. You hit a fire strike on multiple people, you're starting to swing fast. Imagine that with like Kiriko ult, the attack speed increase. That's insane. However, more recently I've been going shield slam. Why have I been going shield slam? It adds that little bit of mobility that Ryan needs sometimes. You see Briggs with their shield slam, you see them kite a lot, you see them move around a lot, and it's because they have that little bit of extra mobility that's keeping them like in a good position, right? You can use this for a lot of things. You can use it to initiate into a fight, get up in there, you can even use it to like push people back, like say here, let me just spawn like a hog real quick or something. Hogs like to get all up in your face, right? They like to get up behind your shield and shoot you in the head. They want to kill you. What can you do? You can boop them away a little bit. And now you can combo that, like, they're on top of you. You can combo that with that shield tech I taught you, right? This hog's here. He's all up in your face. Boop him away, and then start backing up. It's huge. It's a huge ability to use. And now you can use this another way too, right? You have the hog here. You can even do a quick 180 to back up, right? It's huge. It is a huge mobility boost to Ryan, because that is like one of the main things that Ryan lacks, even though he has his charge, is his mobility. So this just counteracts that, and like counteracts that con, and like fixes him a little bit. Also, with this, I think you do get a little boost if you jump with it, right? So let me just show it here. I think you do get a little boost if you jump and charge after, which is pretty good. Yeah, you can use this to go in. You can use it to get out. You can use it to boot people away. It's a very useful ability. There's also a little combo you can do that I've seen like a few Ryans do that I learned from. You can do a 2 swing immediately into the shield stun and one shot someone. Oh, that's crazy. Look at this. And that's going to be quicker than doing 2 swings in a fire strike or another swing ever would, right? Let's just do 3 swings here. It's a little bit faster, not way faster, but it's definitely quicker. Look at that. Look at that. It's a lot of damage there. That's a lot of damage. Like I said, this ability is just very, very valuable. Very, very valuable. I think it's definitely better to go over the like fire strike one, although that one's very situational. You can use either or. It's just the one I prefer. All right, one of the last things that I'm going to go over is Ryan's ultimate. It's a very important ability. I say it as ability because a lot of people like you hold your ultimate so long, when realistically you should like kind of think of your ultimate as another ability, right? Now when is it good to use this? There's never really a good time to use his ultimate. You kind of got to get like good timing on it. A lot of things you have to watch out for, which I've learned this a lot just by playing Genji, right? So, like every time you ult as Genji, you get like everybody starts looking at you, focusing you. They throw CCs at you. They want to stop you. You can take a little bit of that like game sense and put it towards Reinhardt, right? People are gonna know you have Shatter, so they're either going to try and block it, they're going to try to CC you, they're just gonna try to stop you from using it. So sometimes you can kind of like keep in your head just by like watching the game, playing the game. Maybe the Ana on the enemy team, maybe you hear that they use their sleep, so now they don't have sleep to stop your Shatter. Or maybe like Ryan's shield just broke, so now he doesn't have shield to block your Shatter. Or maybe Ramacha placed his shield and you can just walk past it. He can't use the shield anymore to block your Shatter. There's a lot of things in the game with game sense that you can learn just by playing and like timing everybody's CDs, because if nobody has any CDs to stop your ult, then you just get a free fat ult on everybody, right? And again, like I said, this is like a lot of people hold their ults, but you really need to learn that like this is really just another ability. Sometimes it's good to hold your ults. You don't want to like use them all the time. Like, there's 2 people left on the other team. Your whole team's alive. You don't want to waste your ult to kill them. unless you can get like a big stagger off on them, or you know, something crazy. I'm kind of going a little bit off track here, but yeah, really just the best times to use Ryan's ultimate is when you know it's not going to be counteracted, or just get like a good timing ult off with your ult. Sometimes other Ryans slip up and they don't block your shatter, or like other tanks slip up and don't block your shatter, so you get a fat ult off. Sometimes you just have to like risk it and go for it, you know. Although like not all the time this is a good thing. Sometimes you can get free ults by just waiting out everybody else's cooldowns. Okay, also one more thing. Say you're going against another Reinhardt, right? Reinhardt has his fire strike. This is what you have to be careful for, because if you're going against another Reinhardt, anytime you fire strike, you're stuck in the animation, right? If you see here, you look down at my abilities. Every time I fire strike, everything else goes red. I can't use them. I get stuck in the animation. So here's how, like, sometimes we can get like a free shatter on another Reinhardt. Like if you don't get CC'd by another one of their teammates, you know, you get honest left or something. When I throw a fire strike, I'm locked. I can't do anything. So what does that mean? You know, just put it into your head a little bit. What happens when the other Ryan throws a fire strike? What happens? He gets locked. He can't do anything. He can't block your shadow. He can't do anything. So sometimes you can time it to where when he throws a fire strike, you can shatter and get a free shatter on him, right? Because he's stuck in the animation of fire striking. That's where game sense comes into play. Like, you know, the other Ryan has his shatter, so you have to be careful by using any of your abilities, because it's going to put you in a lock to where you can't block that shatter. I've seen it happen too many times. I've abused this so much in games to where a Reinhardt will throw me a fire strike, and it's just bro, it's cookies in a jar, man. You're snatching the cookie, getting the fat shatter on him, all because he used this fire strike. And he knows, he probably knew that I had shatter, but he just doesn't know he can't really block it during his fire strike. That's a huge tip to learn on Reinhardt, right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Every time you use your fire strike, when the other Ryan has shatter, you're liable to giving him a free shatter, right? Okay, so we went over a few things, you know. Let's just go through the list here. We went over like shield management, Ryan's charge, his fire strikes, how to get better at them, you know, the perks, earth shatter. There's a billion different things I could go over. I just tried keeping it to the basics. You know, I'm kind of new at this stuff. It's pretty fun making these guide videos. Maybe there's some stuff that I'm saying that is wrong, so if you guys want to, like, you know, correct me on that, I'm more open to opinions. You know, I'm more open to change, as everyone should be, especially when playing this game. You know, believe you're a bad player, because if you do, there's only one way to go, and that's up. The more you believe you're a bad player, the quicker you learn. Even if you're the best player in the game, you still believe you're bad, bro. You can learn so much just by believing you're a bad player, you know. So please just like change your mindset, learn a little, you know. But I'm not really here to, like, you know, correct anybody on any of that stuff. I'm just trying to help you guys learn a little bit. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I'd love to see some comments. I'd love to see likes, subscribe, you know, do all that stuff. Also, I stream almost daily on Twitch. So if you have any questions, you want to come hang out, join the community, come by. You know, that's Twitch/KifixOT. We went over that at the start. Don't ask me what the OT is. It's just there because somebody stole my name. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me some comments on, like, any other heroes you want me to do, or like any, you know, just anything in general. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. You know, I'm all for it. Yeah. Peace, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Catch me on the next one. Bye bye.